guys for being here. As I had kind of mentioned, I think most of you were already on, but Rachel is unavailable today and she had another engagement to be involved with. So she asked that I host, and so here we are. Dave, if we can get the flag up, we'll go ahead and start with the pledge. All righty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And then as far as the invocation goes, I'm happy to do it, or Earl, if you'd like.
Okay. Bless us, dear Lord, as we gather today. Be with us as we consider how we can best help our community and the children in our vicinity. As we go into this week of great decisions on the part of the country, please be with us and bring us to a position where we are following the directions of the good Lord, and we are loving our neighbors and we love ourselves. Lord, be with us today as we continue these proceedings. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, well, our guests today, Patricia, Hannah had invited her neighbor Patricia here, so welcome. Thank you for being here. Meghan, I think, is here with us. Meghan Gassner with the city of Redmond. There she is. Hello. And is Chuck able to join us today, or is...
Unfortunately, he is not. He is in an emergency meeting with COIC to try to get some more grant funding to our local businesses. So we figured that was a top priority. So.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, no problem at all. So Megan's going to be our speaker. She's going to be talking about Redmond Urban Renewal and the South Highway 97 project. Any announcements? Earl, it sounds like Rachel had one for you to give to the group, and then anybody else.
Right. I've got a meeting scheduled Friday with Sherry Sheridan concerning our green bags. At the board meeting, as we mentioned last week, the idea of sharing information, personal information, did not go over well with them. And so Sherry's looking at other alternatives. If she cannot come up with one by Friday, I would like to go ahead and purchase some bags and run the program ourselves. I think it's something that's needed. I can get 50 bags for about $200, and we could run it ourselves, much the same way, doing the very same thing, but we won't have to provide that kind of data that is very concerning to some folks. So we'll go to the board with the approval of the money at the next board meeting, but I need to get this thing moving because I'd like to have the same kind of timeline so that we can deliver food to the food bank on December the 14th. So if there's anybody who really objects to that, please let me know. You have my email and or phone number or whatever, just let me know. But that's what I'd like to try to do at this time, and we'll see where that goes.
Thank you, Earl. Any other announcements or updates? Hannah, go ahead.
Sure. It's just an update on the progress of the Seas Candy fundraiser, and we're almost ready to put the online ordering on the website. Thanks to Dave Shirley, and John Duff has done some things. John is out of town on a work deal right now, and he'll return next week, and then we'll get it on there. So that's an update on that. And I also was thinking we could have a committee meeting on next Monday, which I believe is November 2 at 10 o'clock. I'm not sure. I think
that's when we've been doing it the last couple Mondays, yeah. Right?
Would you like to do it then?
That's fine with me. I think
sure.
There's only a couple of us here, but maybe Dave, can you send out an invite for that?
Sure.
I have a friend who's having an important birthday at 10 o'clock. So
Okay.
I don't know. Could we have it at 9 or something?
Fire me.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I think 9. Yeah, that would be better.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
And that would be good. That way we know you got to get out at 10 and the meeting will be over with.
Won't take that long.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Any other announcements before we move on to the joke of the day? Get ready. Get ready. This is a good one. Okay. So what do you get when you divide the circumference of a jack-o'-lantern by its diameter?
A broken bucket.
No. Pumpkin pie.
Oh,
Pie. Get it? Math joke. All right. So I wanted to do a Halloween theme one. That wasn't Rachel's joke, so don't give her any credit for how great that was. Now, the moment you guys have been waiting for. Megan, you get the stage here. Go ahead and give us the update. We're excited to hear from you.
Great, thank you. I think I need to write that joke down for my mom. That's right up her alley. So my name is Meghan Gassner. I am with the City of Redmond Urban Renewal. I've been with the city for just about a year now, actually. And yes, typically my supervisor and our program manager, Chuck Arnold, would be with us today. But yes, as I mentioned, definitely wanting to get some more grants out to our businesses, and they had a bit of an emergency meeting to try to pull some more funding from the state. So fingers crossed that we'll be able to plug some more money into the community really soon here. So anyway, we do have a new urban renewal district that we are proposing, and I've got a slideshow for you guys that I'll try to pop up here. Although Josh, I don't know if you will have to do screen sharing for me or anything.
You're good to go.
There you go.
Great. Oh, great. It's got the good pictures in it, so we don't want to miss that. Let's see here. Okay, hopefully you guys can all see that.
Yep.
Great. So what we're looking at here, and I don't know if you guys are all aware, but we do have an urban renewal district right now, which is our downtown core. It's been in place since, I believe the mid-90s, and has been contributing a lot of resources into our downtown. That's really helped that area kind of grow by leaps and bounds. So we're hoping to do something similar through our South Highway 97 corridor. And right now we're just in the process of conducting a lot of outreach to our other taxing districts in the area and to our community partners. So we just really wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of what we've been proposing. It's been in the news a little bit off and on, and just wanted to keep you guys updated as well. Let's see here. So really what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is kind of the purpose of this district, where we're at now, what our next steps are, and also, you know, what is urban renewal and why we use it. Essentially, it's a tool that helps us leverage state and federal dollars that we wouldn't be able to access otherwise to really address some safety and economics. And I will apologize in advance. I am at home with a distance learning kiddo. So if you hear a child or a dog barking or anything like that, that's why. As I go through this presentation, certainly feel free to ask any questions, or if there's anything that you want me to clarify, I'm happy to do so. There are a number of people on city staff that are a part of this team. So if you guys have any questions I can't answer, then I can certainly take those back to the team and get a response back to you. So the city really views this proposed district as a solution to safety concerns and a need for job and employment land development throughout this region and this corridor specifically. I'm sure we all know that stretch of 97 at the south end of town from about Veterans Way down to Airport Way. It's in need of some serious overhaul to be in line with the quality of the rest of our town. I mean, that center lane in and of itself, I nearly got sideswiped on it a couple days ago. So, and like I said, we've been really conducting a lot of outreach to our other community partners to just kind of gain some regional support for this project. What we're really hoping it exemplifies is that it's another example of Redmond's commitment to this culture of regional collaboration, particularly when it comes to making investments in our town's infrastructure. So before we discuss the project itself, I just wanted to provide you with a brief overview of how urban renewal and specifically tax increment financing works. It's a little deep and not super exciting. I could send you all sorts of stuff if anyone needs, help going to sleep at night. But really the bottom line is urban renewal is one of the only funding mechanisms in the state of Oregon that can raise funds for these regional projects without also raising taxes for our residents. And that's through the generation of this tax increment financing. So basically what happens is when property valuations for a certain area are not rising at the same rate as the area around it, an urban renewal district can be established. There are a lot of statutory thresholds that have to be met in terms of the property values and the amount of blight in the area. I won't get into all of that here, but basically it's those areas of town that you can visibly see are not progressing like the rest of the town is. So if it appears that a district is feasible, then an urban renewal plan is created. And that plan outlines the specific projects that can help raise those property values over time. And it's typically, it's about a 25-year or so district. So once the district is created, if it's approved throughout the region, then the existing tax base collections are frozen, and those that tax base collection will still flow to all of our taxing district partners. So this is, the fire department, the library, the schools, 4-H, just all of those other local government entities that you see on your property tax statements usually. And in this graph, if you're able to see it, that's represented as that bottom dark blue box, and that's kind of that frozen base that continues on for the life of the district. So any increment that builds on top of that base, when a district's not established, that continues to just flow to those taxing districts. If an urban renewal district's established, then that increment growth goes to the urban renewal district, and it's invested in those projects that will help raise the property values. And the goal is that once the district closes after 25 years, that higher valuation for the area is returned to everybody, to all of the taxing district partners at a rate that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. So essentially, we like to say that we're acting as mutual fund investors, and it's just kind of over the course of 20 to 25-year period. So there's no additional cost to the taxpayers to fund an urban renewal district. Essentially, the taxes are just being funneled to a new bucket. So it's not a new tax on property. It doesn't increase the amount that we pay in our property taxes for our houses or anything like that. We have, over the last couple months, met with our other overlapping taxing districts. We obviously want to make sure we have their support since we're essentially taking their future money. And all of them have given us the thumbs up. They recognize that even given the crazy year we're having and how unsure we are with the economy right now, they recognize the importance of this project and that it is going to be beneficial to the community, throughout as we implement these projects. So the project itself, just to give you a visual of what we're looking at here for the boundary of this proposed district, we're looking at Veterans Way to the north, down to the U Avenue Airport Way interchange to the south, and then east-west from about the railroad tracks over to Canal Boulevard. And then the plan also includes that recently annexed South Redmond Tract property that's just south of the fairgrounds, kind of that wonky shaped rectangle at the bottom there. So the reason that was included was due to the similar infrastructure needs that we have for both areas. It was really just logistically and financially beneficial to extend the district boundaries to include that industrial land. We really want to prepare it for future opportunities and job growth out there. Right now, it's just a big pile of dirt with no infrastructure at all, no roads, sewer, water, gas, anything like that. So we want to make sure we can get that infrastructure built there to really drive up the interest for any future manufacturing or industrial firms to set some roots here. So why we are proposing this new district, it essentially boils down to 3 priorities. One, as I mentioned, is to leverage state and federal funds that we couldn't otherwise obtain. 2 is to bring in the infrastructure that I mentioned. We've got, providing that infrastructure, it can really act as that key component, that huge driver in getting the industrial and manufacturing employers to town. And I didn't realize this when I started working here, but Redmond is really, really unique in that we are one of the only cities in the state, and actually in the Pacific Northwest, that still has land available of this size. And we have a lot of incentives to drive business here, and we get a lot of interest. And this is one more tool that we can use to get some more job growth going for the area. And third, our third priority here, and really our main priority, is to make some serious safety improvements along 97 in that area. We're actually looking at partnering with the fire district to hopefully get a new fire station down in that area of town. We'll be able to utilize some urban renewal funding to help the fire district with any gap financing needs that they might have down the road. So hopefully that partnership will work out and we'll be able to get a much needed additional fire station in town. So our immediate focus is going to be the implementation, and I know this is probably really hard to see, and I can certainly, I can shoot over a PDF over to Josh if you guys want to be able to see this in, kind of a bigger scale here. But this is actually our concept design for the Highway 97 corridor to improve the safety and accessibility through there. Some of the project elements include a raised center median, so that center lane will be taken out. There will be new signalized intersections that cut east-west across 97 there. And the goal is that this will really improve the safety in the corridor by reducing the frequency of the crashes that we see through there. They'll also hopefully really improve the aesthetics through that corridor. There's going to be a lot of landscaping going in, which just visually has the effect of kind of making that transition from freeway speeds to, hey, I'm in town now. I should probably not be going 60 as I'm, getting through 97. But all the other access treatments that we're looking at will also still allow customer access to all those businesses on both sides of 97 while maintaining traffic efficiency. It's interesting, it's kind of counterintuitive, but some of the new, I think there's 3 new signalized intersections that they're proposing. And it will actually have the effect of speeding up your time going through there versus everyone kind of getting stacked up in those long lines at the intersections we have now. So even though a few new lights will be going in, it'll actually help ease the congestion and get everybody through a little faster. So a big piece as to why we're proposing this district right now is we actually have a critical timing piece with its implementation in order to be responsive to ODOT's timeframe. They're actually required to repave 97 through there in the next 3 to 5 years, but their repaving does not include any safety improvements whatsoever. So the goal is that we will be able to partner with ODOT to implement the safety needs that we have with their road repaving timeline. And that large lot industrial area that's south of the fairgrounds there, that's the South Redmond Tract. This is kind of the second part of the project. It's actually expected to accommodate up to about 3 million square feet of new development, which in turn can obviously lead to some really significant job growth for the region. It's planned for 50 to 200 acre industrial sites with about 2 to 10 employees per acre. What we're looking for, and kind of what the goal is between the Department of State Lands and the city, is to really appeal to more of the technology and other light industrial kind of low impact uses that still require that large parcel of land. And just very briefly to give you a little background on how we even got to this point of recommending an urban renewal district for this area. We actually have to go back about 10 years to the development of the South US 97 corridor plan. And that took place following the phase 1 97 reroute that took the Highway 97 traffic out of downtown Redmond and routed it around to where it is now. So since then, until last year, actually, there's been multiple studies, committee meetings, technical advisory committee meetings, community outreach, all occurring to really identify what the needs are for the South Highway 97 area, and to then develop the goals to address those needs. So the process was really heavily reliant on community engagement, and this was the recommendation that came out of that whole process. So through that decade of work, what all those groups identified were 3 areas of need. As I mentioned, first and foremost was certainly making this a much less dangerous stretch of road for vehicles, pedestrians, bicyclists. Our daily traffic counts, it's pretty incredible actually. So in 1990, we had a little under 13,000 vehicles driving that stretch. 10 years later, in 2000, it doubled to 25,000 vehicles. And most recently, our most recent count, which at this point is already 3 years old, that went from 25,000 to 40,000. So as our community and region continue to grow and tourism continues to draw in more and more travelers, those numbers will certainly continue to increase. Our crash rate in this area is actually much higher than the state average. And some of the intersections have been identified by ODOT as needing critical safety improvements, which is what we're hoping to address. Regarding the fire station also, I want to make sure I mention too. So currently they're operating out of our sole fire station in the area, which is downtown Redmond. And as we continue to grow, especially in South Redmond, in order for them to reach certain stretches of 97 and those surrounding neighborhoods, their response times are nearly double what is an industry standard acceptable range. And considering the growth that will continue to happen that we're seeing down that way, those response times are not expected to improve at all without the addition of a new fire station. Chief Kemna with Redmond Fire and Rescue told us that should a new fire station be built, he is ready to staff it, and it will on day 1 be the busiest fire station in town. So our second identified need that came out of all the community outreach was really just the improvement to mobility in that area. You know, as a transportation hub for the region, improving the mobility for all of our users is certainly a priority. For freight and vehicle travel, traffic times will be improved for both north and south travel by about 20 to 28% is what is expected. The corridor plan that we're hoping to implement will also provide for safe pedestrian refuges going across 97, improve sidewalks, and actually I think there's a lot of sections where there are no sidewalks at all, and then a designated cycle track treatment for bicyclists. So they're not in the road and they're not on the sidewalk, they'll have their own designated path. One of the city's visions is to really continue building on our connected network of sidewalks and bike facilities to provide safe routes between neighborhoods, and the projects that we've put into the urban renewal plan really have that vision in mind. And finally, our goal is to, with this district, is also to address the economic vitality of the area. We have very low value density and limited development along the Highway 97 corridor, some of which can be attributed to our outdated and undersized infrastructure that we have through there. And then that large lot industrial area has non-existent infrastructure. And between the two areas, there's actually an 84% lot vacancy rate. So it's prime for development, We just need that urban renewal funding lift to really incentivize the growth for both areas. So the tax increment financing investments would occur in the following areas. The main one's the implementation of that corridor plan along 97. We're looking at probably about a $37 million urban renewal investment, but the project itself is closer to about $70 million. The utilities and infrastructure for both the corridor and the South Redmond Tract, that would be about an $11 million investment. The additional fire station could be anywhere from $4 to $6 million of urban renewal financing. And then we're also planning on developing some incentive programs to really draw in that business, get the business and property development going. And I'd be remiss if I didn't kind of bring this back to our 2040 comprehensive plan and our vision statement that we have as a city. You know, oftentimes these vision statements can sometimes really get lost in the day-to-day work of executing projects, and you know, and that's for any type of organization. Policymakers for the city, as well as staff, have really wanted to change that. We're making really concerted efforts to always make sure that our vision statement for the city is at the forefront of all of our future planning efforts, and that it guides our decision making throughout all of our departments. So this project is certainly no different. We've had this vision statement and our comprehensive plan always at the forefront as we've been developing the projects for this district. Let's see here. And so our next steps, what we're doing going forward, we've been doing a lot of outreach the last couple months. Our plan at this point is to have City Council, they'll have a special meeting December 1st, and that will be to really hear any recommendations that we receive from our other taxing district partners, and to also take any public comments. And then we're looking at a plan adoption decision the following week on December 8th. As I mentioned before, we've received a lot of positive feedback and support from our partners. A lot of folks are experts in certain areas of this that we aren't, you know, as well versed in. So they've been instrumental in really making sure this plan is as dialed in as possible. So when it does hopefully get adopted, it will be clean and ready to go, and we'll be ready to hit the road with our projects. So with that, I know there's a ton of information. I've been talking a lot. If you guys have any questions, I am more than happy to take those.
I've got a couple.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with urban renewal districts. And one of the issues that oftentimes people raise with urban renewal districts, and actually there's two. First of all, that as a, if you're at the school or if you're at the fire department, you're losing taxes. You're losing your tax dollars. And I understand you always sweeten the pot by giving them something. But in fact, you have to remember for the next 25 years, there will be no increase in taxes output for those other entities. So if they bought on, that's fine. But you need to understand that the urban renewal district normally they don't go away. The people who run them will find another issue in their community to try to extend the urban renewal district, simply so you know what you're buying onto. The other issue I have with what's being proposed that I have that personally is the whole thing on 97. I don't know if anyone's ever gone to Scappoose, Oregon. Scappoose is on US 30. It was a small town of about 4,000 people, 5,000 people, much like Redmond was 20 years ago. And with the development out in the west side of Portland, all of a sudden Scappoose has ballooned. In US 30, the only road through Scappoose is like 97, really the only road, goes through Redmond. And they've done much the same that you have suggested, or what the plan has suggested, putting in more lights. And if you try to get through Scampoose at 6 o'clock in the morning, for all those people going to work in Hillsborough, or those people coming back at 4 o'clock, you are in for a half an hour to 45-minute wait trying to get through all the lights. It would seem to me the best way to deal with the problem of 97 is to reroute those trucks and those people coming from the north going to either into Redmond or into Bend to work, or conversely going from Bend out to us or other places to work. Get them off 97. Otherwise, you're going to slow them all down, and we're going to have the same issue here in Redmond that we already see in Bend as we try to get into Bend. For whatever it's worth, go to Scappoose. That's it.
I really appreciate those comments. Yeah, that is a nightmare stretch on Highway 30 there. You know, and I know that there is, I think they looked at the option of kind of rerouting again from where it was going through Redmond, and it just wasn't going to be feasible. I know there are plans to extend what would be 19th Street kind of out by the airport to the industrial lands to maybe drive some of the truck traffic that's going over that direction in Quarry Road. So any freight vehicles that are trying to get to that area, they're not all queuing up at Veterans Way to get over there. So there's hopes to kind of ease that congestion as well. But yeah, we're gonna continue growing. And this, you know, this is the goal of this district, I mean, certainly is to try to help with that growth, but really it's also to try to address some of the safety issues that we've got along 97 first and foremost. So certainly addressing the growth continues to be a main topic of conversation. You know, with our past urban renewal district, we actually had one before out at the airport way, just to kind of address one of your earlier comments. We actually closed that district down early. I want to say about 5 years earlier than planned, and it returned basically to all of the other overlapping taxing districts. I want to say we were at about 87 times in property tax returns than where it started. So that was a huge boon to everybody in the region, which was great. And certainly our downtown district, we're getting closer to the wire on that one. And we audit ourselves every year on what have we done, what's left, you know, and I don't think council would stand for continuing it indefinitely. So, you know, we always keep those in mind. We know our taxing district partners, and we very much do see it as a partnership, are counting on those dollars flowing back to them. So that's certainly in the forefront of everybody's minds with these things as well. Yeah, when it comes, and I did want to mention really briefly too, and this was something I learned this year as well, when it comes to the school and the nature of their funding. So for Redmond School District and the High Desert ESD, they are funded through the state school fund, which is an equalization formula. Certainly urban renewal on a statewide level can impact that state school fund. The goal is that legislatures would backfill any holes made by urban renewal, which I'm sure we all can guess how that goes. So, you know, this year they've been made whole by the legislature. That's great. When they go through the budget process again in 2 years, who knows? Urban renewal on a state level does impact our school districts. This district, though, and its impact on our local school district is, and how that kind of all flows down is minimal. And we've had some really great discussions with the Redmond School District leadership team, with their finance office, to just get a better understanding of this. And you know, at this point, we've received letters of support from all of our taxing districts, and I think while we all understand the financial impacts of this district. So far, everyone has been really supportive of what we're trying to propose here. This isn't certainly not a district where we're trying to line developers' pockets to come in and build bigger and better buildings or anything like that. So,
Well, you can, the urban renewal can help the school district. You get the evaluation in the district high enough, we get off the state school support, we have all our tax dollars come to us.
wouldn't that be great? You know, and we talked about that too. I mean, the school district does see direct dollars in the number of families who are here and the number of kids they have enrolled, right? You know, there's each kid has a weighted value. So the hope is that as we bring in some new jobs, you know, that we do help Redmond increase their enrollment numbers, and we can see some positive impact that way.
Megan, this is Dave Shirley. I noticed you just got through doing a roundabout on Canal over by the Safeway. I can understand that you wanted to keep the traffic moving. However, a half a mile farther on down the road on Canal, you have Salmon Avenue emptying onto Canal. And frankly, to make a left-hand turn from Salmon onto Canal, you take your life in your hands. Is there any way you can like put like a four-way stop there at least?
You know, I think a lot of that our transportation department is still getting the details on that, just to make sure that we are addressing any of those safety needs. Certainly left turns right there are just horrendous. So I know though, none of that's been finalized yet. They're still looking at making sure that either we have a four-way stop put in place or, you know, another signalized intersection where it makes sense to do so. But the goal is to try to do away with as many of those really sketchy left turns as possible.
This is Carl Vertrees. I have a couple of questions. Is
Yeah.
the county on board with this urban renewal plan? And if so, might that expedite the extension of 19th? And do you have a site for the fire station?
Those are all great questions. Yes, we did just get the resolution from the county, from the commissioners last week, I want to say, expressing their support. So, you know, we will be certainly working very closely with the county on implementing these projects that, you know, are regionally based. You know, it's not just City of Redmond projects, but affects all of us as a county. I will have to follow up on the status of where 19th Street is at. I think they're still working on kind of conceptually how that's going to look and where that's going to be routed, and hoping to get some grant funding at the federal level to help make that possible. I know those grants are pretty competitive, so we'll see what shakes out from that, and that will then kind of determine the timeline for doing the 19th Street extension. What was your final question? I'm sorry.
And is there a location pinned down for the fire station?
Not yet. They are going to start the process of looking, and it's kind of a fingers crossed situation that they'll be able to find a plot of land that is going to be within the urban renewal boundaries. But and if that's the case, then great, we'll be able to partner. If it's not the case, then, you know, so be it, and the fire district will do what they need to do to make that second station happen. But our hope is that we'll be able to find something.
We live on 19th near the Redmond High School. Could I just find out, will it affect us living down here in this part of Redmond? I didn't think so.
Nope. Yeah. Nope, we'll be good. Yep, I'm kind of down in your neck of the woods as well. So nope, shouldn't affect us at all. So.
I'm John Bruce. I'm a retired high school science teacher. I'm wondering if there's an environmental impact statement involved with this.
Oh, that is a great question. I believe we do. It's probably with our engineering department. I can certainly pull that and get that your way if one's available.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions? Well, Megan, thank you so much for being our guest today. This is fascinating stuff. It really
No,
is.
thank you too. We really appreciate the opportunity to, just get this project out into the community some more. And, you all have provided us with a lot of really great feedback that, does get incorporated into the plan. It goes into our comments that we provide directly to council. So it's, this is very important for how we do our work and trying to put our best product out there as well. So thank you all very, very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
And if it's convenient for you, do go ahead and send me over those PDFs and I can forward them to everybody. More than just
Absolutely.
More than who's just here, the whole club. I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'll send it over. I'll send over the PowerPoint as well as a better PDF of the corridor plan, so you can see that in a little more detail.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Megan.
Great. Thank you too. You guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too. All right, guys, and I will leave you with the thought of the day. This is from Rachel, so she gets the credit for this one. The best thing about the future is that it comes only one day at a time. And that was from Abraham Lincoln. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.